Jason, the lazy boy. What's going on? Oh my God, he's got his room all together with all this damn 49ers
Hey,
crap.
represent the Niners, and I do support NFL play. So there you go, right there.
Oh my God, I can't look. I'm rearranging. I'm doing retooling of the house, whatever you want to call it. I've had a little bit of drink because we're pre-gaming, so I'll have my little Miami-centric room set back up in a second. I got the plain sheet today. But welcome back to What the F Sports Week 3. We're here. We didn't do our show Monday because we wanted to do a Thursday night special. Of course, Bo is nowhere to be found. His name's first on the roster, but damn, how is Bo the white guy and he's never on time? I don't
Hey,
understand.
maybe he's making a sandwich or something for the game. Well, I know it's not his team, but
Well,
or
Peter,
maybe the storm got him out. I don't know.
Peter's gonna join us in a minute. Well, yeah, Bo is in Florida. I should think about that, but I don't think he's close to Tampa. I think he's closer to the Orlando area.
Okay.
I think he's closer to the Orlando area. But Bo, if you're in the way of the storm, be safe. We'll see you next Monday. A hurricane is no excuse for you to miss the next show. I just want you to know that. All right. So let's jump right into it. Okay. Bengals, major disappointment, but week 3 looked like last season's Bengals. What are you thinking about this game tonight, and what are you thinking about the Bengals versus the Dolphins?
Um, I see. Like it's gonna be like that Ravens game. It's gonna be pretty high scoring. I feel like they might score. They might both they might run the score up this tonight. I'm not sure,
Thursday
but
night games are weird. They either get high scoring or very low score. You never know how people's bodies are going to react
yeah.
to the short week. Of course, Cincinnati's at home, so there's no travel there, and of course, Miami's doing the traveling. Um, I would say let's do it like this. What do you fear is going to be the worst aspect on Cincinnati and Miami? So for me, the Dolphins haven't been really getting the pass rush that we thought they would get. They've got a couple sacks. They've got turnovers on quarterbacks 3 weeks in a row. Um, but if that Cincinnati offensive line isn't gelling together like everyone thinks it is, this could be the day that they get a lot of QB pressures and a lot of sacks.
And you got to keep your eye on Tua. Who knows what went on that last game? Is it a
You know what
concussion?
went on? He hurt his back.
Yeah,
Hurt
he
his
wasn't really. He wasn't grabbing at his back.
You ever had, you ain't never had a back problem to where it turns into jelly and you look like Gumby and you just fall down?
But he ain't 40, 45 like we are. So
Well, first of all, I'm not 45. That's number one. Second of all, what do you mean his back hurt? Hey,
he got up and did kind of like a speed wobble. Kind of, it didn't look like you grab at your back when your back hurt. He didn't grab nothing at his back.
there was not. That's the point. He felt like he ain't had no back, so it was nothing to grab. It was numb. You know what passed concussion protocol? Them damn passes he made. That's what passed concussion protocol.
Yeah, I mean, he still played his game. I can't take that away from him. But like I said, it looked like when your back hurting,
You just go keep
you
bringing it
grab
up.
at your back. Yeah, that's
Well,
your
I
back.
mean, you do. Hey, I've had a lot of back problems, so not always. Sometimes, it felt I've got a little lightheaded, and he stood up really fast. So,
A big
there's
guy
that.
like me, when I get out of bed, my back, I get a sharp pain. I'm ooh ooh. He did
Hmm.
kind of like But I mean, hey, he like I said, he finished the game. Yeah, I can't hate on that. So he did
I
his
want to
thing.
see the Dolphins secondary again. They're playing a team that has three dynamic receivers.
Yeah,
They've got
yeah,
Chase, they've got Higgins, they've got Boyd. That's pretty damn good.
yeah.
Um, I'm surprised at this. There's NFL analysts and former players that know way more about football than me, and yet nobody realized what the Dolphins were doing on defense last week.
Yeah,
They
nobody seems to. They don't seem to. They're looking at that. It's always, they're looking at Waddle and Tyreek Hill, but like their defense is The defense is not it's not suspect, but they're in the game.
No, but here's the thing that I'm talking about. They keep looking at, oh, they ran up the yards. Josh Allen did whatever he wanted. Well, first of all, he didn't do whatever he wanted. They scored 17 points. So if that was all everything he wanted to do, then they're not going to the Super Bowl like everybody's predicting. If 17 points is doing what all you wanted to do, I saw the Dolphins doing was allowing everything to stay in front of them, except the two, I think, cover zero blitzes where they scored the touchdowns short. But they were forcing Buffalo to do 14, 15, 16 play drives in that heat. And it worked because Buffalo has been scoring quick on people.
Yeah.
They've been scoring on Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, was he in the game?
He didn't. I didn't see much of him, but
But they
he
let Buffalo march down the field continuously and then locked it up once they got past the 20. Again, they had the two hiccups, but hey, they scored 17 points. They had 4 quarters, they scored 17 points. A lot of people go, well, Buffalo didn't have half their secondary. That's no reason for them to stop scoring. Then they go, well, they had the offensive line shuffling out. Well, if you watch the broadcast, so did the Dolphins. So we're using excuses where we want to use excuses, and then we don't want to use it when it benefits the other team. I've never heard an offense say, well, we only scored 17 points because half our secondary was out. What sense does that make?
that doesn't make much sense. Yeah, it's tough, but like I said, they're both high powered offenses. Um, Two great wide receiver cores on both teams. It's going to be a shootout tonight. I can see a shootout coming tonight. It's going to be a good game. I'm actually looking forward to it, and I want to see the white helmets too. So on the
Yeah,
Bengals.
I mean, and then you can never, stats are good, but I mean, think about it like this. One QB, you got two QBs tonight, right?
Mhm.
Tua and Joe Burrow. One has a QBR of 117.8, and one's got a QBR of 85.2. Who do you think has what QBR?
I'm pretty sure Tua has the higher QBR. He connects with his guys. I mean, Burrow has to it's been past 2 games he's been working for his working to get his boys involved. But like Tua, man, he's been I ain't gonna lie, them boys been lights out since the beginning. So
You're right about that. Tua's completing about 71.3% of his passes, and I think Burrow's completing around 63, 64 completion. Again, before anybody has a heart attack, that's not me saying Tua's better than Joe Burrow. Just pointing out what they're doing right now. People will point out when a quarterback is doing worse, but then if that quarterback starts doing better, they find other excuses. First, it was Tua can't throw the deep ball. So then now he's throwing the deep ball. Well, Tyreek Hill has to slow down. You're damn right. He runs a 4.0. All
yeah,
right. So now he's throwing the deep ball. But then there were busted coverages. Okay, but the busted coverage has nothing with him still throwing the deep ball. He still had to throw it, whether
right.
it was busted or not. And isn't recognizing busted coverage kind of part of being a quarterback? What's he supposed to do? Hey, there's a busted coverage. Let me not throw it here because then people will say I only completed it because it's busted. Or he's supposed to throw it to the open guy. I thought that was the job of a QB to throw it to the open guy.
It's usually the job. You got to find the man, put it in space where they can catch it. Make it.
But what do you want him to be? You want him to be Brett Favre and continuously throw it between 4 people and get more passes picked than any other quarterback in the history of the league and then retire and steal money from Mississippi? Oh, wait, we're not talking about that. We're just going to keep going. We're gonna keep
Man, boy, that man made a better point. I'll tell you what. Anywho,
So you are not. Oh wait. First of all, we got to mention the Giants. The Giants are playing. Uh, who the hell are they playing this weekend? Are they playing the Panthers?
they played the Panthers last. They played the Panthers a couple weeks
Who the
ago.
hell is the Giants playing this week?
Cue them up. We got to cue them up. It's
They're playing somebody where I don't care about either one of them. I hope they're playing the Jets. Oh, it's the Bears. They're playing the Bears. I think they're playing the Bears.
Yep.
The Bears are playing the Giants in the Meineke.com toilet bowl game that only Bears fan and Giants fans care about. Okay.
Oh
There we go.
well.
There we go, Katie. We mentioned the Giants.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I'll I want them to beat the Bears. Of course, they beat the Bears beat us
Hmm.
earlier this season. Let's see what Daniel Jones does, man. He had a so-so outing when they played the Cowboys, so I don't know if he can bounce back from that. But let's see if he does.
Mm. Let's see if it does. Hey, I want to play shocked or not. Okay. I want to play shocked or not.
All
You
right,
got it?
let's
Okay.
do it.
Are you shocked that the Panthers beat the Saints 22-14?
Actually, I'm not. I really don't have that much to say about Jameis Winston. He's you're gonna get him throwing interceptions like he
Wait, now
did.
let's be fair to Jameis because we did it with Breeze and everybody. Like, I know Breeze got championships. Okay, got it. Yeah, just for the championship guy that always yells in the background.
Yeah,
He's got a ring. He's got like 95 injuries right now. Jameis Winston.
but he's always showing up throwing. He can throw. He can throw the ball. He's actually a gunslinger. Like from what his
So
past few
tall.
years.
He's going to give you your picks, but he
Yeah.
looks terrible. And I just want to point out the fact that he does have 95 injuries
Hmm.
right now, which is crazy. So not shocked. Colts win versus the Chiefs, 20-17.
I did not see that coming, so I was shocked.
No one
I
saw it coming.
I did not see that coming. I didn't. Once you saw Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy getting into it, you didn't see any. The morale was not there after that.
Okay. Jags win versus the Chargers, 38-10.
Shocked about that. I did not see them putting up that. I did not see them putting up points like that.
Are
But
you shocked at the points or shocked that they won? Because I'm
I'm
not shocked
shocked.
they
I'm,
won.
I'm shocked at the points and them winning. I did not, like I said, I did not see them putting up that many points against the Chargers. But I know Bosa did go. He did get out. He's going to be out for a few games. He just groin. But I mean, he wasn't really a threat because Trevor Lawrence was moving around, getting the ball to
How
everybody.
how terrible is Urban Meyer to where Trevor Lawrence looked like a draft bust? A draft bust that was going to be out of the league. No, he won't be out of the league because even when quarterbacks are busts, if you're a certain type of quarterback, you get to hold a
Keep him in
clipboard
there.
for
Keep
15
him
years,
on in there.
right? No, you get to hold a clipboard behind the QB for 15 years. But looking like a draft bust, and now he's looking like everybody thought he was going to look when he came out of college.
I mean, it's 3 games. I
Still,
mean, I'm not. I mean, he looked good. Don't get me wrong. And I'll go on a limb and say they'll win that conference. I'm gonna go on a limb and say they'll win it.
yeah, lazy
There you
boy.
go, Bo. There you go, man. You got it.
Lazy boy, I know it's only 3 games, but it's number one, it's all we got to go on. But in the 3 games, he's looked better than in the entire season
Yeah, yeah,
last year.
yeah,
You know, he was sometimes looking incompetent and was no fault of his own.
yeah. I just don't think that was him. He just didn't have a real game plan to go with.
Yeah, Urban Meyer.
Yeah,
Dolphins win versus the Bills 21-19.
Dolphins beat the Bills. I mean, that was to me was a shock. But like we mentioned last week, they had a game plan. They had a game plan against them, and that was like hitting them boys in the mouth, and showing them they are physical too. Von Miller didn't really get a rhythm going.
His presence was felt in like the
Yeah,
first series, and that was it.
yeah, that was it. Like he really didn't get nothing going, and like I said, hey Tua, man, he was just they were on Sunday. It
A
was
lot of
I
a
was
lot of people were shocked, but you know who wasn't shocked? And no, I'm not being a homer. That guy that picked him in the pool. I really don't go against Miami in the summer at home unless they're terrible.
yeah,
Like
nobody conditions like
last
they
year,
do.
yeah, last year I didn't pick them because of the way Florida started the year before. So I was like, years that they were terrible, terrible. But I tend to pick them in September and early October at home.
Yeah, like I
So
said, nobody.
fast,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
they
don't
got
they don't condition. People get
Uh,
people condition, but like you're down in that Miami dry heat, and you get down there, and it's just ooh,
our,
once that once
our heat's not dry. Our heat's humid.
well yeah once a team like Buffalo gets down there, it's just like they aren't ready for that, and
You can't
cramps and
simulate it,
yeah
right?
yeah
That's why Miami, if they're going to be good, if they're going to go to the playoffs, they need to stay the course. They need to have home field advantage over any cold weather team because I hate to watch them go anywhere in December or January. Don't want to be in Buffalo in January.
no you don't because
No.
then somebody mentioned that earlier, like if they went to Buffalo in like December January, it wouldn't be the same result.
I like how people say that as if that's the epiphany. That's been the talk. That's been the thing since they've been rivals in the AFC East. It's not a new thing. It's always been that way. We've watched Marino kick their ass in Joe Robbie Stadium and then go up to Buffalo and lay an egg. Of
Uh-huh.
course, Buffalo's won a bunch of games in Miami as well. Miami's inked out some games in Buffalo, but it's usually that kind of split, you know. It's usually that kind of split. And Buffalo Bills fans, shut up. I think Miami. And I know I'm quoting this wrong. Maybe the producer will fix it. I think it was like a 10-year stretch or 12-year stretch where they didn't win a game against us. It was, I think, the '70s to the '80s or something, and then they won a game and they rushed the field like it was college. It was insane. I got to look
Oh,
that up. I can't remember exactly what it was. So out of those games, which one was the most shocking to you? Because mine was the way the Colts looked was Chief Colts. That's the one that shocked me the most. Jacksonville didn't shock me because they've been playing lights out. The Titans. Oh, I didn't say Titans Raiders, but that's on here. But that
that
that wasn't a shock to me.
that wasn't a shock to me.
Panthers.
They're playing like crap.
Yeah, Panthers Saints. I'm just shocked that the Panthers got a win. So Dolphins Bills. I'd be lying saying I was shocked because I picked them to win in the pool. So Chiefs Colts because the way the Colts look, I thought Matt Ryan was on his going to retire by week 5.
Mhm.
But that was the most shocking to me.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still on the Jags and Chargers. Like you, Chargers came in on some high where people been talking about how good their defense got with
Justin Herbert.
with her and Herbert. Oh, Herbert's like gonna be the second best quarterback in the league. I've heard a lot of that stuff, but like you know, Khalil Mack didn't really. I mean, those guys got all these people talking about them and not really producing. And weren't they in LA and Jags went up there and beat them?
Yeah, maybe they should go back to San Diego. Um, this is one that was asked by one of our subscribers. They emailed to ask this. So I want to ask because the producer put it up here. Is Bill Belichick on the hot seat after 7-9 in 2020, 2021, 10-7 and 21-22, and 1-2 this start this year? I hate this question because it's like if Bill Belichick is in trouble, you're a moron.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to stop doing this thing that when somebody rebuilds without the best quarterback that they've had, that they're going to look good. Okay. It doesn't matter how great the coach is if your quarterback stinks. All right. We saw what happened when Elway left Denver. We saw what happened when Steve Young, because Joe Montana left and Steve Young was there. We saw what happened when Steve Young left. We saw what happened when Peyton Manning left. The Colts won one freaking game when Peyton Manning got hurt. We see what happens when these guys lose these quarterbacks, and you got to drop down to that level. He didn't forget how to coach. They got to retool and rebuild that thing. Okay, he's got. So everybody forgets when he had Tom Brady throwing to cornerbacks. Everybody forgets when he assembled defenses to where when the Patriots couldn't score, everybody remembers the Tom Brady of the undefeated team and after throwing 50 and 40 touchdowns, but that wasn't before the Randy Moss years. They were winning on defense. It's not like the guy forgot. There's that it's not just Tom Brady. There's a lot of other horses that he doesn't have that he used to have. And I'm sitting here as a Miami fan defending Bill Belichick. Never thought I'd see that.
Yeah, I mean, and let's remember he's a defensive guru, so it's like he had a squad, a defense that was like that really much, pretty much put him where he is now. Like now, they're everybody's like trying to figure out how they're going to run this offense. when they don't have an offensive coordinator. There's just I don't see him being on the hot seat. I just see him, it's a rebuild, and
It's insane to take your coach that has been coaching, that has won you 6 Super Bowls, and in 3 years say he's on the high. It's because fans are impatient. I,
yeah,
as a Miami fan, yeah, Don Shula wasn't winning any Super Bowls after the '70s. I mean, he went to one in '82 and one in '84. But here's the thing: Miami fans got so annoyed at winning 10 games, 11 games, and 12 games, and 13 games, and 14 games, and not going to the Super Bowl, and they ran them out of town early. And look what you got for the next 20 years, because you get greedy. You forget how good it is to be relevant. And New England fans, any New England fan who's mad at Belichick, you must be 20 something years old, because before Belichick, you had 1 year, the year with Parcells, but basically you were down there as a laughing stock of the league, just like a
indeed, indeed.
40 years. You guys stunk
Drew
for
Bledsoe
40
didn't do
years.
anything. Drew Bledsoe got you there, but he didn't. He
Me
let.
and me and Peter, who's coming on in a second, have a friend named Al. He's a diehard Patriots fan. He always says, "Look, man, I know what it was like before." So you got people who have short-term memory, you know, and they have short-term memory. We're gonna bring Peter on. Peter's gonna join us.
What's
Hey,
up? What's up?
hey. I don't
Had to
know.
go get pizza and beer and all that stuff. Yeah.
Pizza
Yes,
and beer.
you must be watching football tonight.
I am. Actually, Brad's on his way down from Apex because he's getting ready to close to the house, hopefully tomorrow.
Yep. Brad was going to be on the show too. Don't worry, because he's a Bengals fan, so we want to get him on here. Pick at you, Peter. Well, you jumped just in time. We talked a lot about tonight's game. We did a segment called "Shocked or Not Shocked," trying to pick which team shocked you the most. So, Peter, I'll go through it real quick just to ask you, which one was more shocking? And I'm not going to do the scores again. Panthers beating the Saints, Colts beating the Chiefs, um,
Colts
Jaguars.
beating the Chiefs.
See, I ain't even got to get through the rest. I don't even have to get through the West. I didn't even mention Packers versus Bucks, because anytime you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, I don't consider anything an upset when you do that. Uh, but talking about those teams that aren't impressive, look, Denver, whatever. I'm not on. I've never been on the Russell Wilson hype train. We do this thing now when somebody goes to the Super Bowl and wins one, we put them in the Hall of Fame right away. Like if they retired the day after. What, since we always judge what other quarterbacks haven't done since whatever, what has Russell Wilson done to make your eyes glow since the Legion of Boom this
so
week?
so I just knew, like, for this week, I knew that we probably wouldn't win this game because I knew Russell Wilson knew how to beat us. He lets the we play zone defense, and once those guys get back and the linebackers get back, he took it. He was like, all right, something clicked around the third and fourth quarter. He was like, okay, I can penetrate the holes and get to the first downs and make
Did you say penetrate the hose?
holes. I said
Oh,
penetrate the holes.
Same thing.
Good God, this is sports. What are we talking about?
yeah,
No.
but lazy boy, what does Russell Wilson figuring out what to do at the ninth hour against your linebackers have to do with your offense?
Well, that's moving the ball. He wasn't doing in the first half. We were pretty much keeping him at bay. Secondary was we had some secondary blitzes that we got off a couple. Then he kind of, once he started moving around, that kind of drew us back. And once we drew back, that's when she's so crazy. She's crazy. Something's wrong with her. Tell you what. Anywho, but yeah,
Yeah, but
he
wait a minute. But the Savior came back though.
I didn't see him do anything out the ordinary that he hasn't done, but like, I mean, he's a solid quarterback. I mean, got a great arm. Jared Judy, he wasn't really playing. He didn't really show up. I had him in my fantasy, which
You
shit.
know what? Y'all kill me when y'all judge a guy.
Me too.
Somebody does something on your fantasy and you just rip them to shreds.
Yeah, I don't know why I picked Jared Judy anyway,
Hey,
but
be glad you didn't have Stephon Diggs this
oh,
last week.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't. Yeah, he wasn't doing his dance.
Well, I know he picked Judy. It's the same reason that I started Judy. Is the week before he did really well,
Yeah.
and Russell Wilson is a more than once has he gone to the Pro Bowl, right? He's a multiple Pro Bowl quarterback.
I wouldn't have picked him over the defense, but hey, before we get back
Well,
to
you don't know
football,
who else you like. Who's Lazy Boy else got to start on his thing, right? He
I
might,
know that's what I was saying. He probably had other people, but hey, you picked somebody to play against your team, which you should have known better.
Yeah.
It's not like you guys have bums for corners. Peter's just going to eat his pizza online. This privilege just shining on through. Um, hey, so let's talk a little bit about something non-NFL related before we get back to it before the Thursday night game. NBA stuff. Kevin Durant, summer drama, saying he doubted the Nets organization and wanted a stable team, but has faith in them moving forward. Do you think Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and Durant have what it takes to be a good team? The Nets, so much talent, but they are a mess. They are a mess.
I want to check to one word you use in that whole statement. You said summer drama. I want to check the word summer. With Kevin Durant, it's just
Wait, hold on, Peter. You got to unplug and plug in your mic. It's got the static. It's doing the static thing. So just unplug and plug it back in.
There is no mic. It's just on my iPad.
Oh Lord! Now you sound like Max Headroom.
I don't know.
Well, if I can jump in there. I think they are a mess, but Kevin Durant and Kyrie they may be gelling.
Finally, maybe. I like where that went. They're finally maybe.
But he really the interview I heard, he was just like he wanted some demands. He wasn't really trying to like be forced to force his hand to leave or do anything. He was just trying to get them guys to to see what the bigger picture, what he was looking at, which was just bringing some help in.
He's just saying words at this point.
Yeah.
They're all just saying words.
I agree. Just words.
Like, I feel this is the problem I have. Sometimes when certain people, especially Kyrie Irving, when they make statements, they should go back and listen to themselves. But here's the problem. They're going to go back and listen to themselves and still not hear what sane people are hearing. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Then you always have the people that are on their fan club that say, well, you just don't understand Kyrie. No, I understand insanity. I've been around a lot of crazy people. Now, I don't want to call the guy crazy, but you know what I mean. They're just saying words. It's ridiculous.
Did Kyrie Irving say something about Earth made being flat and not round at one point?
Yeah, that was a while ago. Peter's retired now, so he's catching up to news from 2, 3, 4 years ago. So
I'm just bringing that up for perspective. That whatever he says, you've got to put it in that whole flat earther perspective.
Yeah, I always like to tell people
the Earth is not flat.
Just to be funny when somebody says something crazy. I always go, "What on God's flat Earth are you talking about?" Oh, here's a fun one. Are the Pelicans good enough, finally, with a healthy Zion to be a contender with the supporting team of Ingram, McCollum, and Jonas?
I don't see why not. McCollum always been a consistent top 20 scorer.
But you missed the trick question. Are the Pelicans good enough finally with a healthy Zion? Who said he was healthy?
He's lost some weight. They said he lost like 15 pounds. He don't look like Baby Shaq anymore.
Oh, that was so funny on TNT when they said Shaq looked like me and you had a baby.
No, that was the funniest thing I ever heard, bro. They told him that. Shaq about fell out the chair when he heard that.
You said it looked like what, Chuck? It looked like you had a baby.
Oh my God, that was
Hilarious.
hilarious, man.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say this. The obvious answer is yes, but the caveat to that is, well, how long is he gonna be healthy? That's the
Hopefully he's conditioned. Hopefully conditioned better than he has been. When you're somebody who can jump like that, you really can't. You ain't gonna hear nothing from nobody. You can't hear the outside people telling you. But I'm pretty sure he heard Shaq and Chuck going after him this whole season. He set out, so like it had to hit somewhere where it's like, okay, maybe it is time for me to,
You're right, because it's
you know,
not like they have access to strength conditioning coaches and
right.
nutritionists. You're right. You're right. They don't have any access to that. You know what I mean? Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah,
Well, that's enough about non-football because we're at 7:32. So let's get back to football. Before we get back to the game tonight, let's talk about who to take in Week 4 in NFL. All right, I'm gonna start with you, lazy boy. Chiefs versus Bucks. They're both 2-1. Who you got and why?
I got the Chiefs going down there beating the Bucks. Yep, think Pat Mahomes going to bounce back from that little mishap they had, and I think Tom Brady's just not. I mean, Mike Evans is back, so it might be close, but I'm gonna still go with the Chiefs.
All right, Bills versus Ravens at Baltimore. Both 2-1. Who are you taking, Peter, and why?
I'm taking Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just going to run right through them. Lamar Jackson is not only going to run right through them, but he's also going to pass right through them. He's just not a running quarterback. That's only like 1/3 of who he is.
Yeah, if they're still missing half that secondary, that's what's going to happen. So in that first game, I got the Chiefs. The second game, I'm actually picking the upset. I'm picking the Bills. All right, Jason, back to you. Seahawks 1-2 versus Lions 1-2.
So buzz going on about these Lions, man. I could see these Lions kind of. I wouldn't say shocking the world, but they're gonna. I think they could beat the Seahawks.
I think they can too. I mean, their quarterback is Geno Smith. Then we have the 1-2 Titans versus the 1-1 Colts. Peter.
1-1-1.
Hey, but, week 6 they might be 2-2-2. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just going to go with the
I-
Titans. I feel like the Titans are better.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Titans
know.
with that. Oh, and then the game of the week: the 2-1 Bears versus the 2-1 Giants. The most uninteresting 2-1 teams in NFL history. Go ahead, Jason.
Giants over. Giants gonna win this, and it's not because of the disclaimer or the somebody drilling in my head that I need to talk about them, but just on paper, Giants will probably take this. Bears aren't really that put together. Giants still have a decent defense to work with.
Hey, they're 2-1. I got the Giants too. The 2-1 Broncos versus the 0-3 Raiders. Peter.
Broncos. I haven't seen anything from the Raiders to make me feel.
Hey, you are correct. You haven't seen anything about the Raiders, but hey, that's what I'm talking about. I feel like they got to get a win eventually. I feel like this is the week they're going to get their win. They're going to get a win. I don't think they're going to go 0-4, 0-5. I think they're going to get a win in the next 2 weeks. I'm picking this week for them to get a win. Jason, Patriots 1-2 versus Packers, who are 2-1.
All right. So I know earlier we talked about Belichick being on the hot seat. This is the game he probably will be a little more on the hot seat because I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is going to show up this time and he's going to throw all over the field to these non-name wide receivers. It's going to be a blowout in Green Bay.
It's going to be a blowout in Green Bay. Okay, write that down. I guess you're booking it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Peter. Oh, yeah, I got another love. I'm giving Peter all the good ones. 2-1 Browns versus 1-2 Falcons.
Browns. Jacoby Brissett's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't do that last year. But he also didn't have Mike McDaniels.
Well, he was running for his life when he was with the Dolphins, as was Stula.
Well, he also didn't have Mike McDaniels.
You don't have an offensive line, you can't really throw the ball at your
They
runner.
They changed like two people. You can also scheme when your offensive line is terrible. 1-2 Washington Commanders versus 1-2 Washington Commanders versus 2-1 Cowboys, Jason.
All right. Back and forth about this one. I see uh, in a laugher. The Commanders winning by a field goal in a laugher.
Oh, hey, I didn't mean to laugh when you asked that laugher, but it was just the way. I'm not picking Carson Wentz to win a damn thing.
I just don't see Cooper Rush beating these boys. Like, I
What do
mean,
you mean? Beating the Commanders?
I don't know. It's gonna be a laugher. That's what I all I know. It's gonna be a laugher,
The
low
Cowboys,
scoring.
the Cowboy. Listen, and I hate saying anything good about the Cowboys because my dad's a Cowboy fan, but you act like they've been terrible or look bad.
They haven't. They've been doing good.
It's the
But it's
it's
like
because no,
it's something close when they play each other.
I figured it
So
out. You're a Niners fan. It's hard for you to say anything great about
I
the
can't.
Cowboys
I can't do it. It just
because
can't.
you'd have three more Super Bowls in the uh, in the early '90s. You'd have a couple more Super Bowls if it wasn't for them. Um,
Right.
Back to the game. Let's talk about some things to watch for. Ooh, here's a spicy one. Eli Apple. And you know how Chris hates Eli Apple. Eli Apple versus Tyreek. Ooh.
Eli's a burn victim from the past, so he's not going to hang with Tyreek Hill like that. Eli Apple is a burn victim, so
Tyreek already said, I'm looking for you.
I don't need to look. He's gonna look past him, and like I said, Eli's gonna be sitting in the back of Tyreek's jersey.
Now, here's the thing, Peter. Uh, which one of these impresses you the most? Okay. The fact that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have more receiving yards than the rest of the team combined, or that Miami has held teams to 50% in the red zone. Teams are driving on Miami, but except for Baltimore, they're not scoring. Well, even Baltimore, 21 of their points was a kick return, a 75-yard pass, and a 79-yard run. Other than that, teams that are
Um,
getting that red
the
zone are
Dolphins
not scoring
defense
touchdowns.
really played well. They played well. They had Buffalo to 19 points.
Well,
Let's not forget that. It's not like Buffalo some. They're not. Yeah, Buffalo's not some sort of idiot or whatever. They can score points. They could drop 40 on you. They only scored 19, and two of
well,
those was a butt punt.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, two of them was the butt punt, which Mark Sanchez said he loved because now someone's in the clubhouse with.
Yeah.
Um, the Dolphins defense is allowing 21.3 points per game. The Bengals are allowing 18.3 points per game. So both of their defenses, even though Buffalo went up and down the field, even though we saw what happened with the Ravens, if we average that out, it's 21.3 points a game and 18.3 from the Bengals. So holding teams to that amount of points means those are winnable games.
Mhm. Yeah.
Those are very good games.
Yeah. The Bengals, man, they're gonna have to really bring their A game. They haven't really showed how they're the AFC champion form. They really haven't showed me anything so far. So like they're gonna really have to do something special tonight and they got a big stage. It's Thursday night.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only game on. Like they're gonna have to do some. They're gonna do something to show me something because like Miami's here. They're looking pretty legit right now.
Yeah. Then we have the turnovers, of course, is
There's going to
all.
be some blitzing.
There's going to be some what? Oh, turnovers. Peter,
Blitzing.
Peter's been drinking. He's been eating pizza. His iPad's crapping out on us. I don't know what's going on with Peter. But hey, well, you've made about as much sense as Bo when he's on here, so it's
Hey, Bo, man, hey. Oh man, he's
okay.
wild.
One in the turnover department. They have 6 turnovers and 5 takeaways. Dolphins have 2 turnovers, so they're not turning the ball over a lot. It's only the 2 picks that Tua threw. That's the only 2 turnovers that they have, and they have 4 takeaways.
Yeah, and that one pick was really on Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Well, it was. There's also a couple picks that could have been picked. Like there's Jalen Waddle almost knocked up a pick, but the Dolphins, they this can't happen. On that game-winning drive that every fan and NFL analyst keeps pointing out that Buffalo should have scored. Josh Allen shorted the ball. Everybody conveniently forgets if we're doing woulda, coulda, shoulda. There were 4 dropped interceptions in that drive alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If we're doing woulda, coulda, shoulda, there were 4. Not prayer interceptions in the hands, in the chest, interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had like 3 heart attacks during that last drive.
Oh man! The only reason why I was having a heart attack during that last drive because this is what winning does. I'm now getting confidence that no matter what the score is, so this is what I
There's a
miss.
change.
Everybody, like I was saying, the importance of your team being relevant and good, even if you didn't get a Super Bowl. The thing I was missing from the Marino years was I always thought I was in the game. We could be down 35-10. I always thought I was in the game. And oftentimes than not, you were. The Dolphins had lost that, just like many teams do. And once a team went up by 2 touchdowns, it's like 3 touchdowns, it's like, all right, what else is on? You know, now I'm getting back to I better watch this because, like I said in the last show, I walked across the street to the tavern. Once it went up, once they went up 35-14, I said, check, please.
Mm-hmm.
And I went home. By the time I got home, it was 35-35.
Yeah.
So they're given that hope that with those 2 guys. And here's the thing: this is how you can determine if you're good. They know you're going deep. They're putting a coverage to stop you from going deep, and you do it anyway.
Those boys are quick, man. It's really hard to defend. It's really hard to defend two receivers that can run the 40. Lights out. Like it's hard to defend that. Like and then Tua can put the ball as long as he put the ball in play or somewhere near him. They're gonna.
But you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen because this happened on 2 drives in the Baltimore game. If you double Tyree and then you give help to Waddle, because Gasecki's been quiet, but anytime someone's done that, you can't just have a linebacker running with Mike Gesicki.
Not expecting that.
It's not going to work.
Nope.
So it's a nightmare headache. I'm not pumping up the Dolphins like they're going to be undefeated juggernauts, but it is a nightmare matchup. That is a nightmare matchup. For anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this. We'll give you Tua and Tyreek for Jimmy Garoppolo. No, I'm just kidding.
I would take that in a New York minute.
You'd give him your newborn child for that.
Right, bro. Look. And then you know how we're successful left-handed quarterback. We make him a Hall of Famer. Tua would be a Hall of Famer if he came out there.
Make him a Hall of Famer. So what's your?
He'd be closer to his family too. His family can fly right about 6-7 hours from Hawaii and come and join him.
Okay, Jason. I was being funny. You didn't have to take it any more further than that. That'd be the dumbest trade in history. No one's ever doing that. So we're not.
I'm just wishing we get it. I mean,
they wouldn't even let you make that trade in Madden. Okay?
They would deny it quickly.
All right, that's not what that happened. So, Peter, score tonight.
I'm going to go 28-24. Dolphins.
Okay. Lazyboy.
Man. Peter, you're selling your team short, man. I see they're going about 35-42.
Oof.
Wow.
Miami.
On these defenses?
Yeah, it's going to be it's a shootout. It's going to be a shootout.
Hey, Peter, what's Brad's ETA? Do you know his ETA?
He's actually here already. You want me to go get him?
Yeah, go get him.
In there, man.
Yeah, go get him.
There guy here, man. Good grief.
All right.
Bengals fan. Oh my God. Bengals and Dolphins in the same house. Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I think if you mix a Bengal and a Dolphin fan, you get a 49ers fan.
B-Rad, what's up, man?
Brad, all right,
There you go.
Hey, so Brad, which one of these two things, if they happen, would most likely happen? The Bengals have 600 yards of total offense, or Joe Burrow sacked 6 times. If one of those things would happen, which would be most likely?
Oh, that's an easy one. Come on.
What's that?
Most likely to happen is Joe Burrow getting sacked 6 times.
All right.
I agree.
So,
that dude stayed on his back.
For the Dolphins,
Yeah,
which one?
He's got to learn how to get rid of the ball quicker.
Yeah. get rid of the ball.
He's too cool in the pocket. Too cool.
So when you say that, is that something that should be schemed? Is that something that should come down when they're planning the offense, or are they doing that and you feel like he's still holding on to the ball too long?
The offensive line is new; they're just done, and they haven't quite gotten it together yet. So Joe he doesn't quite know who to trust when he steps back. You can actually see he bounces around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like taken away from him being able to process where the receivers are. And so once he trusts the line a little bit more, then I think they're going to be fine. Another game or two. Hopefully tonight, by the way.
What is most likely to happen on the Dolphins side? Tyreek Hill scores 3 touchdowns, or the Dolphins have 3 or more turnovers?
I don't know enough about their offense on the turnover side, but I think the turnovers are more likely we're going to lock down Tyreek.
A smart guy.
Okay.
That's a smart
We got
guy.
it.
I knew he was not giving them any credit.
Well, hey,
Tyreek is really fast. He's going to get 1 probably. Hopefully he's not going to get 3. If we get 3, we're going out.
you said he's 3 with what?
If he gets 3, we're going to get blown out.
Oh, if you get 3, you're going to get blown out. Well, the Dolphins have 2 turnovers this season with 4 takeaways, and the Bengals have 6 turnovers with 5 takeaways. I don't know where that ranks.
We have 5 turnovers in 1/2 at the beginning of the season, so kind of hard to count the Bengals numbers.
Yeah, so that brings that average.
Joe had an atrocious stat. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Well, the Bengals are only allowing 18.3 points a game, so there's that. There's that. And they're averaging
defense. I think the bigger question is how many sacks is Trey Hendrickson going to have on Tua tonight?
I don't know, because hey, I was scared that Buffalo was going to have a bunch of sacks, and it didn't happen. So
I think Trey's only got like half a sack this season. He's had like 13 or 15 the last 2. He's new. I think he's slowing down.
Hey, Brad, that first hit on
23 years old.
hey, that first hit on Tua, man, that concussion is going to come back.
what concussion?
That's
He
true.
hurt his back and his ankle.
Uh-huh.
Every time I hurt my
Oh.
back,
I took a shot to the head. Oh, man, my back hurts.
I mean, it happens. It happens.
Oh, man.
Brad, we talked about a couple things to watch for in this game. Is Eli Apple versus Tyreek Hill. Good God, Chris loves Eli Apple.
No, first off, hang on. Eli Apple not going to be covering Tyreek Hill because we.
I hope not. They better have some like 5 people if Eli's going to go.
That will be touchdowns if that happens.
Okay, so we'll put Eli on Jalen Waddle then. Okay, so that's what we'll do.
Yeah, that's
Eli.
even better. Yeah.
Hey, it's going to be a good rest.
We're going to do like a nickel back. There's going to be 5 guys back over all those guys.
Here's a bit of advice, because Xavier Howard has dropped 3 interceptions so far. Don't try to pick on him. That's number 1. I don't care what receiver's on there. The only successful thing that's happened against Jalen Waddle this year is that 75-yard touchdown, but that was on a slant without inside help. I mean, you get it.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
If he goes inside on ours, he's going to get lit up. Yeah, safeties are
Here's the problem. Not a problem, but here's the things that the Dolphins defense has been doing. Teams have been able to drive the ball, but they have not been letting teams score touchdowns. It's 50% when in the red zone. And before you came on, we talked about Baltimore having 35 points, but 21 of those 35 points was a 79-yard run, 75-yard pass, and a kick return. So they literally had 14. They were in the red zone like 5 times, So that's the one. So I'm racking my brain because I'm watching teams drive down the film, but they're getting in lockdown mode when they get to the red zone.
Mm-hmm. Who have you played though, other than Buffalo?
New England and Baltimore. New England and Baltimore. New England, I'm not really, that New England game doesn't excite me as much now that I see what New England is. So it's just one of those things where it's like, well, we'll take the win. But we did play Baltimore, who no one's been able to stop. And then we played Buffalo, which no one has been seemingly able to stop. And what I was pointing out to Jason is I'm watching all these analysts talk about how Jason Allen did whatever he wanted, which I always laugh at, because if you did everything you wanted and you only got 17 points, that's a problem. But I liked, no one was noticing what the Dolphins were doing. Buffalo's been scoring at will, and they kept everything in front of them and made them do 14, 16, 17 play drives, and it worked.
By the way, I was watching ESPN the other day, and they were talking about that. And they said that Miami's stadium is actually an advantage for the Dolphins in the early part of the season, because you guys are in the shade, and you put the opponent in the sun, and it was
even before that.
And so
but even before that, it's always been that way. Yeah,
exactly.
But it's always been
Buffalo was asking from the fact that they had.
I know
they just want to get out of the sun, man.
I know, that's why they made them take those long ass drives. But hey, it's always been that way. The shade is really new for Miami because not Hard Rock, but Joe Robbie Stadium and Pro Land Shark, there was no shade on either side. So both teams baked in the sun. It's just Miami was acclimated to it. So we always had these problems where New York Jets and Buffalo and the Patriots would come down to Miami when we played them early in the year, and we'd win most of those games, and then we'd go up in the cold and lose. So it's been that way since I was a kid. It's just now the Dolphins finally have shade. I'm like, wow, you thought about it? You finally decided to put shade on the Miami side?
When you're going to build a new stadium, you will do it. Right?
You said what, Brad?
They said when you build a new stadium, you might as well do it right.
Yeah, that's a whole. And for people say that's unfair, well, hell, nobody wants to go and play in Buffalo in freaking December and January, but we got to.
They wants to go to Green Bay in January. Doesn't matter. That's.
The Niners did, and we won there. So just FYI.
All right, Brad. True. Proclamation time, Brad. Proclamation time. Will the Browns? Well, I'm sorry. Will the Bengals end up with a better record than the Browns?
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one, man.
It's a tough one because so far Cleveland's playing better than I thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing a little worse than I thought we would.
Yeah. And Baker's still playing like Baker.
At the end of the season, Cleveland is still Cleveland, so I'm going to go with us.
He's still thinking Ernest Biner's going to fumble the ball. And Baker Mayfield.
I think it's going to be Cincinnati and Baltimore at the top, and Cleveland and Pittsburgh are trying to figure out who's going to get the number 1 draft pick.
All right,
probably Pittsburgh.
Jason, I forgot for tonight's game. Did you pick the Dolphins or the Bengals?
I picked the Dolphins.
And what was the score you said?
35-42.
And Peter picked
the Bengals. Trade, Jason.
Hey, I'm just the numbers guy. Just trying to, I see high scoring. I do see high scoring.
I don't know how you see. I don't know how you see high scoring with two teams that have held teams to 21 or less points.
As pressure bust pipes, that's what's going to happen
on a short week.
Hey, it's not bad weather in Cincinnati right now. It's gonna be some.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put Tyreek and Mostert out wide on the left, Waddle and Edmonds out wide on the right. Tell all 4 of them to do go routes, and then we're just gonna keep throwing Gesicki 7-yard passes. That's what we're gonna
do. Yeah, it's good. Sounds like a good plan.
Who's the tight end for Who's the tight end for Cincinnati right now? I should know that, but I don't.
Hayden Hurst.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, hey, Brad,
playing
I
well.
want everybody to know this. If you're a Bengals fan, you're listening. If the offense, Brad says the offensive line has 2 more weeks to get this right, or he's calling Jason Whitworth, or he's calling Whitworth, and he's gonna get him out of here. But all right, guys, we're gonna let y'all get ready. Brad, they've got an Apple product, so I mean, I can't say that. I got a I got a Mac desktop. But Mac desktops are cool, MacBooks are cool. When you start getting to iPads and iPhones, that's a different story. Um, I
Yeah, here, they're out there.
Wait, you have a nuclear physicist and an engineer, and they can't figure out how to get the iPad working.
Oh man. Hey, look, let me
The two smartest people in the state of North Carolina, and they can't get the iPad to work. This is fucking hilarious. And look at the intensity.
They're like, what's going on?
The intensity. I actually want to sit here and see if they figured it out. Look at Brad. Brad's got the well face. He's like, I wonder what the hell they're talking about. They're just gonna sit back. We'll just look at Peter. Well, you know what? If we change the algorithm inside of the iPad, maybe we can rechange the scale.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.